Good afternoon and welcome to Clark, New Jersey at Kumpf Middle School as the Pope John Junior Lions 7th and 8th grade lacrosse squad takes on the Clark Cougars. Mike Formisano here, calling today's action. Thanks for joining us on this summer-like Tuesday afternoon. The weather has definitely warmed up and we have come out of early spring into a possible early summer. Almost 80 degrees down here in Clark, right off the Garden State Parkway, as the Pope John Junior Lions coming off a fresh 13-9 victory against Del Barton Green Wave yesterday in what many may consider an upset. But I'll tell you, Pope John looked extremely strong coming out of that second half yesterday. So a great win against Del Barton on Monday, and we'll see if they'll follow it up on Tuesday against the Clark Cougars. So let's go ahead and go over the rosters for the Pope John Lions, starting with just 1 second. Okay, 24. Thanks, Richard. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go over the roster, starting with number 2, Aiden Hicks. Number 24 is Andrew Jessamaria. Armin DeMar DeRosian, I don't have a number. I believe it may be 14, as my son Michael Formisano told me earlier today. So we'll try and get a confirmation on that. We have both teams already at the center field stripe, the midfield line, so they're getting ready to start this contest, the Pope John Lions and the Clark Cougars. And we'll go through the roster as we get opportunities in the next little while. So we're broadcasting from the corner right behind the Pope John net. Lions looking for their second victory of the year. Next games on the schedule will be the Riverlax tournament that is scheduled for Sunday, April 16th. If there's anything that's moved in beforehand, we'll let you know. While we're waiting for the referees to settle down with the opening face-off, we'll continue with the roster. Number 7 is Connor Clifford. Number 23, Dante Lamb. Emilio Barranco. Don't have a number on him. I believe it may be 34, but again, I don't have confirmation on that, so we'll try and get that later on. Number 1 is Evan Wanamaker. Number 8, Frankie Spagnola. Number 39, Johnny Pippa. 35 is Hayden Marshall. 3 is Jack Seeger. 21, Johnny Kranga. Number 10, Justin Perella. 22, Kellen Nelson. 12 is Matthew Riley. Number 13, Michael Formisano. 15 is Michael Morelli. He's the goaltender for the Pope John Junior Lions. Yes?
Emilio is number 33.
Great. Thank you very much. So we got information. Emilio is going to be number 33. So thank you for that. Nick Boyadowski, number 32. Ronnie Ziegler, 42. Ryder Gerval, 25. Sal Diarco is number 5. Steve Leonard, number 20. Ty Plotz, number 44. Victor Fiore, number 4. And Zachary Cash is number 6. Head coach of the Pope John Junior Lions is Christian Vosa. Coaching staff, Chris Hoffman, Chuck Gervald, and Matt Emmering. And the program coordinator is Beatrice Pippa. So there's the roster for you. We have the Clark Cougars and the Pope John Lions meeting at center field right now to speak with the referees, go over the ground rules, and Pope John looking to build on their 1-0 start. Opening faceoff just seconds away. Again, Pope John with a strong effort yesterday against Del Barton in Morristown. Down in that game at different times, 4-1 and 5-1, and then again at 6-4. They were able to cut the lead to 6-5 heading into halftime. Kellen Nelson had a hat trick in that first half for the Lions, and then Pope John was able to grab the lead on a Hayden Marshall goal to make it 7-6. Del Barton came back, took a 9-8 lead, and then the last 5 goals of the game scored by the Pope John Lions, and they were able to hold on to a 13-9 victory. So we'll see if they can build off that today. Referees are at the center field spot on the center stripe. Dante Lamb, number 23, did a great job yesterday handling face-offs for the Lions. He is handling those duties again today. And with the Clark Cougars here at Kumpf Middle School, we do not have a roster, so we'll go with numbers just like we did with Del Barton yesterday, and that should work. All right, let's do it from Clark, New Jersey, off the Garden State Parkway. Opening face-off between Pope John and Clark. Referee setting the ball. Don't have a scoreboard to work, so we'll just go off the referee's clock on the field. And there goes Pope John. And a shot right away, and the Lions score. Number 21, Johnny Kranga taking the feed from Dante Lamb, putting it right into the back of the net. Pope John in an early 1-0 lead, just seconds in, right off the face-off. Pope John jumping out to a 1-0 lead. So, Lamb and number 10 for Clark will do it again here on this face-off. Already, Pope John up 1-0. As I was saying, no scoreboard here, so we'll just keep score manually, and the clock as well will go with whatever the referees, the whistles at the end of the quarter. So, scrum for the ball, number 22 with Clark trying to pick it up, gives it over to number 5, and back to midfielder number 10. Pass in to 9 for the Cougars. Now back behind the net, number 18, being defended by 12 for Pope John. Number 1, Evan Wanamaker on number 20 for Clark. Clark coming from the top of your screen to the bottom there in their home white uniforms. Pope John in their road blues, trimmed by gold and white, and they're going from the down portion of your screen to up. Clark with the ball again. There's number 12 with it. Pass across to number 9 on the left side, now to 18, back behind the net. So it's actually, we're in Clark, New Jersey, but it is Kumpf and the Kumpf Cougars, named after Karl Kumpf. That's the middle school, so the Cougars and the Pope John Lions. The ball goes out of bounds, but Kumpf is right next to it, so the rule in lacrosse again, closest to the ball on a shot, it goes out of bounds, and you will either maintain possession or take possession if you're the defending team. Ball goes out of bounds on the side, and that will go over to Pope John. Number 44 for the Lions, Ty Plotz, who played such a pivotal role in that second half yesterday, getting the Lions up and taking the lead. Plotz with a couple of big goals, and he runs the ball up the sideline, knocks into number 9, still maintains possession. He gives it over to number 5. Number 5 being Sal D'Arco. D'Arco gives it over to his wing. That's number 10. Back behind the net it is. There's number 3. That's Jack Seeger. Ball goes out of bounds on the sidelines to the left of the Cougar net. Pope John will maintain possession. Early first quarter, 1-0 Pope John on a goal by number 21, Johnny Kranga, assisted by number 23, Dante Lamb. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Cougars take it over to the goaltender, number 10, for Kumpf Middle School. Pope John gets possession now, 21, over to number 10, the shot on goal, save by the Cougars netminder. Number 10 for Pope John is Justin Perella. Substitutions out, Plotz back in for Pope John. Cougars with the ball when the referee starts the clock again. Clock is stopped until the referee starts it back up, and there they go. So the ball actually starts with Pope John on offense. In the corner, the number 7, now back behind the net. The number 3 is Seeger. Over to Kranga. Kranga, number 21, the shot on goal. Goes wide and behind and out of bounds, but Seeger is closest, and Pope John maintains possession. Kranga, number 21 with it. Back to 23, Lamb. Lamb over to Plotz. Plotz inside. Back behind the net, it goes to Seeger. Over to Kranga. Kranga with the shot. He scores! Johnny Kranga puts Pope John up 2-0. Kranga's second goal of the game here early in the first quarter. And the Pope John Lions with a quick 2-0 lead. So Lamb back out to middle field. Take the face-off against number 7 for Kumpf. Hope we're pronouncing that right. Either way, it's the Cougars and Lions. And so here is Lamb. Lamb with the shot. He scores right underneath the right hand of the netminder for Kumpf. And so it goes into the back of the net. Lamb scores. We'll pair that off with his earlier assist on the first goal. And so now Pope John with a 3-0 lead. Back at midfield, Lamb will take the next face-off against number 7. 3-0, Pope John over the Cougars of Kumpf. Here's the face-off. Lamb wins it again. Goes forward with it. Comes out to the Cougar defense. Number 29 tips it off to his defenseman, number 7. Cougars maintain possession, and they'll run it up the field into Pope John territory. Number 25 defending him for Pope John. It goes over to number 9 for Kumpf. Now over to 18. 18 behind the net. Cougars attacker number 18 will pass it off to 20. And didn't find the netting in the back of his lacrosse stick, so Evan Wanamaker picks it up for Pope John, and he leads the charge up the field. Wanamaker passing it off to Kranka. Now to Seeger, number 3. Behind the net, it's tipped away by the Cougars. Number 2 with the long stick. Fighting Seeger for the ball. Scrum right near the back line. All the way deep in Kumpf territory. And it goes out of bounds, and so possession will go over, I believe, to the Cougars. 3-0 Pope John here, first quarter. In Clark, New Jersey. Mike Formisano here calling today's action. Thanks for joining us. It's beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in northern New Jersey. Shot in goes wide by Pope John. And now the Cougars take control. Number 30 over to number 8. Defenseman for Kumpf. We'll move it up the field. All the way down to number 9 attacking for the Cougars. Player checked by number 39 for Pope John, and we got an infraction. The flag on the play by the referee. And so that will be a penalty against number 39, Johnny Peppa, for the Lions. So Kumpf will go ahead and maintain possession. We're midway through the first quarter, 3-0, Pope John leading over the Kumpf Cougars. Here's a charge up the field. They lose possession, Cougars do, but maintain the ball after it falls to the ground. Number 5 was able to pick it back up. To number 18 behind the Lion net. Over to 20. 20 on the left side. Being defended by number 44, Ty Plotz. Back to 18 behind. Now out in front. Tipped away by 22 for Pope John. And he picks it up. That's Kellen Nelson. Nelson tried to scoop it up. He's knocked off the ball by 18. Over to 20. 20 in front. Good defense by 32 for Pope John. Now to number 12. The shot saved by Morelli. He's able to get his elbow and forearm on that ball. And so Nelson picks it up for the Lions. Trying to get out of his own zone. Pass up to 23 to Lamb. Knocked off his stick and it goes out of bounds. Nope. Stays in. Number 5 for Kumpf picks it up. But it's intercepted by 22. Now it's Kellen Nelson. And Nelson gives it to Plotz. Plotz up the field, number 44. The pass going to Seeger, but it was just wide to his left. And out of bounds. Getting late in the first quarter here. 3-0. Pope John leads over the Kumpf Cougars. Here's number 8 for Kumpf. Over to 20. It goes out of bounds. And the ball will turn over to Pope John. The Lions going for their second victory of the season. They are 1-0 after defeating Del Barton yesterday in Morristown. A final count of 13-9. So Plotz brings the ball inbounds. Charges up the field. Now in the center of the box, pass over to number 5. That's Sal Diarco. Taken away by the Cougars, and it goes to the right side. There, the sideline in the corner in the Kumpf zone. Playing off the ball, that's Kranga, number 21, who takes it away for Pope John. Pass in to number 3, Seeger. Jack Seeger with it. Reverses course, comes back in, shot on goal. Saved by Kumpf. The goaltender, number 10, is able to get his lacrosse stick in the way. Stops the shot by Pope John. It goes out of bounds, and the Lions will take over possession. Back into Kranga, now to Diarco. Sal Diarco, number 5 for the Lions. Pass over to 25. That is Ryder Gervald. Gervald. Pass it back to Nelson. Nelson, 22. Big game for him yesterday, a hat trick. We'll look to add on that today. Nelson trying to fake out the defense. Rolls to his left. Ball's knocked off his stick. And here come the Cougars. Number 12 with the ball coming into Pope John territory. The pass to 18. It goes wide of the Pope John net. Picked up by number 9 for Kumpf. Over to 18. 18 with the pass in front. Doesn't get there. Rolls back towards the midline at midfield. Darko trying to pick it up. Can't get to it. He's got a sea of Cougars around him, and we got a whistle. And looks to be the end of the first quarter. So Pope John strikes early, scoring right off the face-off. Johnny Kranga with the first goal. The Lions add 2 more, and at the end of the first quarter, it's Pope John 3 and the Kumpf Cougars 0. We'll be back with second quarter action here from Clark, New Jersey, right after this. Welcome back to Clark, New Jersey at Carl H. Kumpf Middle School, where the Kumpf Cougars are hosting the Pope John Junior Lions. Mike Formisano here, calling today's action. The Lions up 3-0 as we head into the second quarter. Pope John jumped right on the board early with a goal by Johnny Kranga, assisted by Dante Lamb, just seconds into the game. The Lions added 2 more, and we start the second quarter. 3-0, Pope John in the lead. Lamb will take the face-off against number 10 for the Cougars. Here it is, fighting for the ball, and Lamb will come out with it. Pope John now traveling up to down on your screen. They're in their road blues, trimmed by gold and white. Lamb on the left side of the net. He'll pass behind to number 4, Victor Fiore. Bounces off his stick down, knocked out of bounds by number 8 for Kumpf, and he's going to take possession as the ball was being handled by Fiore, and he lost possession, so the Cougars now have it. Back to midfield, number 18 for Kumpf. Goes over to 27. He comes in on goal. Shot goes wide. Now it's loose in front of the crease area of Morelli. And a whistle by the referees, and we'll see if the Cougars maintain possession. I believe they will. 3-0, Pope John, early second quarter here from Clark, New Jersey, right off the Garden State Parkway on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in early April. Cougars have it behind the Pope John net. Pass out to number 12, right in front. Trying to get loose. There's Morelli trying to fight for it. Now, if he's in his crease, he can't be touched by the opposing players, either by the player or by his stick coming in. So he owns that crease, Morelli does, as does the Cougar goalie in his crease. Here's Lamb coming up the shot. Just bounces wide in the net and goes out of bounds, and Fiore was the closest for Pope John. So the Lions maintain possession. Fiore will bring it back inbounds. Pass it off to number 25, and that is Gervald. Ryder Gervald. Pass back to Fiore. Fiore being defended by number 30 for Kumpf. It's either Kumpf or Kumpf. I'm sure I'm getting the pronunciation wrong, but we're trying our best. Here's number 5, Sal Diarco. Weaves his way into the center of the field. Looking to pass it off. He's got Hayden Marshall on his left. The ball bounces into the crease area, handled by number 19, the goaltender. It's tipped away by Fiore, and now Marshall jumps on it. Marshall has it in front. Shot goes high over the crossbar. Out of bounds. Number 25, Gervald, is closest. So Pope John brings it back in. Pass by Gervald over to Fiore. Fiore has it. He's trying to center it. Goes to Marshall. Marshall trying to pick it up off the ground. A slew of Cougars around him, and number 12 for Kumpf picks it up. They'll go upfield. Trying to right past Wanamaker. Pass goes to 17. Shot saved by Borelli. And it goes out of bounds. Cougars closest to the ball. So now the ball comes back in. Number 5 for Kumpf. Shot wide and goes back out of bounds. And the Cougars will maintain possession. Early second quarter here in Clark, New Jersey. 3-0. Pope John leads over the Kumpf Cougars. Ball right in front of the net for Pope John. Bounces back towards midfield and is picked up by the Lions. Number 44, Plotz, will pass it off over to Michael Formisano, number 13. Formisano running up the field. He passes over to Marshall. Marshall, number 35 for the Lions. Marshall on the left side. Pass behind to Fiore, but it bounces out of bounds. And it goes over to Kumpf. Number 30 for the Cougars will play it back inbounds. At the referee's whistle, and there it is. Now it goes back to the goaltender, number 19. Formisano forechecking on the goaltender, so he has to go above the Pope John attackers. And that gives Plotz an opportunity to regain possession for Pope John. So, good forechecking there by Formisano. Plotz is able to recover the ball. And the Lions coming back in. Here's number 10 for Pope John. That's Justin Perella. Now back to Fiore behind the net. Victor Fiore. Pass over to 25. Ryder Gervald. To the right side. Perella has it. Does a 360 on defenseman number 4. Comes back towards the center of the field, right on top of the box. Pass off to Formisano. He receives it. Formisano fighting his way in, trying to get around number 7. He's digging for the net. It's knocked off his stick. Kumpf picks it up, and number 30 for the Cougars, as Gervald tries to knock that loose. Misses the opportunity, however, but the ball comes off of 30's stick, and so Pope John fighting for it. Aggressive forechecking there by Pope John, trying to get that ball back. When you got an injury on the field, player down, that looks to be number 35, Hayden Marshall. Marshall holding his right leg. He's on his feet, so that's good to see. But he is limping off the field now, assisted by the coaches, so we hope Marshall's okay and is able to recover and get back on the field soon. Midway through the second quarter, Pope John leads 3-0 over the Kumpf Cougars. We are at Carl H. Kumpf Middle School in Clark, New Jersey. Pope John 1-0 on the season, looking to extend, or build a winning streak, I should say, by winning a second game of this season before they've even had their home opener. A big win yesterday, a big comeback win against the Del Barton Green Wave by final count of 13-9. So now they lead the Cougars of Kumpf 3-0. Next games listed on the schedule for the Pope John Lions will be the Riverlax Tournament, and that is Sunday, April 16th. More details will be coming your way. Just check your listings. And then later on after that tournament, we'll have opening day for the Pope John Lions lacrosse team, 7th and 8th grade, at Pope John High School. And we will be there for that game. Later in the season, a big tournament as Pope John usually goes to annually over at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, home of the New York Giants and New York Jets football teams, as well as a slew of other teams that comes in through the Meadowlands. And that's always an exciting event for the Lions. So play about to resume now. It's down in the Pope John defensive end as Kumpf has the ball, number 10, in the center of the field. Checked off the ball by Ty Plotz, and number 24 picks it up, gives it over to 32, and that is Boyanowski. He's knocked down. The Cougars able to regain possession. Here's number 18 for Kumpf. I'm sure the parents of the players in that school are finding different ways for me to butcher that name. But again, we're going with what we have. Here's Pope John running the ball up the field. Number 44, Plotz, with an underhand toss to 25, Gervald. Ryder Gervald is finally able to get it into the basket. Right into the netting of his lacrosse stick over to Fiore, to the right side of the Cougar goal. Pass over to Gervald, just tipped off his stick. And Kumpf will go ahead and take over. Number 30 for the Cougars. Runs it up the field now, number 12. Sidesteps number 10, Perella, for the Lions. 12 goes to the sideline. Now pass over to number 20. Deep in Lion territory is number 10 now for Kumpf. Pass across. And number 17, Morelli is able to sneak in and intercept that before it went over to the Cougar attacker. Nice play by Morelli. And he'll pass it back out to number 32, Boyanowski. Boyanowski knocked off his stick, however. He's able to get it back. And he runs it up the field. Boyanowski now over to Fiore. Victor Fiore, number 4, is being chased down. Pass over to 20, just out of his reach. Number 20 is Steve Leonard. Leonard to number 6. Now to Zachary Cass. To 25, Gervald. Gervald on the left side. Pass back behind the net to number 7, Connor Clifford. Clifford racing back into the front of the netting area. Ball bounces towards midfield, and there's Cast. Over to Gervald. Ball bounces towards us and towards the back line, but it doesn't have nearly enough to get there. So number 30 for the Cougars will pick it up. Passes it back to the goalkeeper, number 19, and he'll toss it downfield to number 22. 22 for the Cougars, racing up the center of the field. He's knocked down by a sea of Lions, or pride of Lions. Here's Plotz, number 44. Plotz with the long stick coming in. The shot on goal, saved by number 19 for the Cougars. Rebound goes over to Kumpf. They'll play it back towards midfield. Here's number 22 racing up with it. The 29, the Cougar attacker. Pass off to 17, the shot. He scores. So 17 is able to put the Cougars on the board. And now, late in the second quarter, it's Pope John 3, Kumpf 1. It's tough to expect a shutout here in Lacrosse as so many goals are scored, and they can come quickly. And so, good job by Pope John to keep Kumpf off the scoreboard for as long as they did, but finally the Cougars are able to tally. It's now 3-1, Lions over the Cougars. Lamb with the face-off. He wins it. We got a whistle. We'll see if it's an infraction against, it's against Kumpf. So Pope John will maintain possession. Here's Lamb up the center of the field. Lamb with the shot just wide of the right post. And it looks like Clifford, no, they're going to say Kumpf was closest to the ball. I thought it was Clifford. However, They're going to give the possession over to number 8 for the Cougars. So they'll take over, trailing 3-1 to Pope John here late second quarter. Number 8 with the long stick running up the far sideline. Passes it towards the center of the field. Boyanowski getting a piece of that, and he'll pick it up. Can't get it into the netting, however. Ball's bouncing around there towards the back line. Now picked up by Kumpf. Knocked off his stick. And there's a whistle by the referee, and that is halftime. So, Kumpf finally able to get on the board late in the second quarter, but Pope John maintains a 3-1 lead. It's halftime here at Clark, New Jersey. We'll be back with second half action from Carl H. Kumpf Middle School. Pope John Lions lead at half against the Kumpf Cougars 3-1. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Clark, New Jersey and Carl H. Kumpf Middle School, where the Pope John Lions hold a 3-1 lead on the Kumpf Cougars. Mike Formisano here calling today's action. Thank you very much for joining us this beautiful, almost summer-like afternoon here in early April. Temperatures close to 80 degrees, and the Pope John Lions got on the board early in this one. Johnny Kranger with a goal just seconds off of the opening face-off, assisted by Dante Lamb. They added 2 more in the first quarter and then held Kumpf off the scoreboard all the way until the late stages of the second quarter. But the Cougars finally able to get on the board. And so now it's 3-1 as we start the third quarter. Dante Lamb will take the draw against number 7 for Kumpf. We'll get you roster names and numbers for Pope John as we go through the second half here. Lamb wins the face-off, and now the Pope John Lions going from down screen to up in their blue uniforms, trimmed by gold and white. The Kumpf Cougars in their home whites, trimmed by blue. Ball's on the left side. Scrum for it. I think Kumpf is going to go ahead and take possession. That's number 10 for Pope John. Justin Perella knocked off the ball, and so the Cougars will take over. As Perella, number 10, he'll pick up the ball on the left side, on the far sideline, as we're operating from the corner here of what is right now the Pope John end of the field. That'll change in the fourth quarter as the Kumpf goalie will come over. Here's number 23, Dante Lamb, in towards the center of the field. The pass in behind the net to Jack Seeger. Seeger has it, running around the right side. The shot goes wide to the left post, and it'll go out of bounds on the sideline. And so I believe Pope John will maintain possession. It may have been tipped by the Kumpf Cougars. So Paul comes into Johnny Kranga, number 21. Behind the net, he rolls, does a 360. Pass over to Seeger. Seeger has it now, being defended by number 30 for Kumpf. We got a flag on the play. Pope John holding on to possession, and the shot comes in by Lamb, and he scores. Dante Lamb hits the left side of the net, about a foot below the crossbar. And so that will make it 4-1. Pope John over the Kumpf Cougars. So Lamb ripped that shot past the Cougar goaltender. Four to 1, Pope John over Kumpf. Lamb will take the draw against number 27 for the Cougars. Early stages of the third quarter here. Lions looking to go 2-0 on the season. 4-1, Pope John over Kumpf. We're here in Clark, New Jersey, right off the Garden State Parkway for this Tuesday afternoon bout. Here's the face-off won by Pope John, and it goes over to number 44, Plotz. Plotz on the near sideline. Run it up to Lamb in the center of the field. Now over to the wing. Goes behind the net to Seeger. Seeger has it, passes out to Kranga. Kranga to Plotz. Over to Lamb. Lamb to, I believe that's number 7. Yes, Connor Clifford. Shot goes, good pass behind the net. Now over to Kranga. Kranga rips it. Saved by the Cougar goaltender. And it goes out of bounds off the back line. Pope John is closest to us, so there's Clifford. Clifford passes it back to Seeger. Jack Seeger with it, number 3. To Lamb, 23. The shot goes wide of the left post and out of bounds, but Pope John will maintain possession. Early third quarter, Lions lead the Cougars here 4-1. Here's number 22, Nelson, for Pope John, over to Lamb. Lamb not able to handle the pass, and Kumpf will take it over. Goes right back over to Pope John, and the shot by Plotz. He scores! Ty Plotz able to bury it into the back of the net. And Pope John will take a 5-1 lead. Oh, nice shot by Plotz, able to get on the scoreboard here in the third quarter. Pope John's second goal of this second half. And it is now 5-1 Lions over the Cougars. Well, let's go ahead and start working our way down the roster here again for second half for Pope John. We'll start with Aiden Hicks is number 2. Andrew Jessamaria is number 24. Armin DeMar DeRosian, I forgot the number. I think it was 14, but I may be wrong. I'll have to write it down after the game. I wasn't able to get pen to paper, as I found out before. I know number 33 is Emilio Barranco. 7 is Connor Clifford. 23, Dante Lamb. And here's Lamb with the ball, running up the center of the field. The shot on goal. He scores. Dante Lamb able to tuck it into the lower portion of the right side of the net. And that makes it 6-1, Pope John over the Kumpf Cougars. So the Lions starting to pull away here in this early third quarter. Face off back at center field on the center stripe line. It'll be Lamb against number 7 for the Cougars. Let's continue with the roster real quick. Evan Wanamaker is number 1 Frankie Spagnola is number 8. Johnny Pippen, number 39. Hayden Marshall, number 35. As Lamb wins the faceoff, is able to gain possession. We'll pick back up with the roster in just a minute. Here's number 6 for the Pope John Lions, Zachary Cast. And we'll have to get that name down. We'll work on all these names as the season goes on. So my apologies for any incorrections or mispronunciations. Here's number 24, Kumpf. Passes out to number 8, who can't handle the ball in the cradle of his lacrosse stick. He'll pass it back over to number 12. The shot on goal. He scores. He's able to bounce that past Morelli. Put it right into the ground, and it bounced back up and had just enough momentum to get over the goal line. And so that gets the Cougars their second goal of the game. It's now 6-2, Pope John. Face off at the center field stripe. We'll see who takes it for Pope John. Does not look to be Lamb this time. I think it's going to be number 5, and that is Sal DiArco. DiArco is going to take the face-off against number 27 for Kumpf. 6-2, Pope John in the lead here. Early third quarter. We are streaming live from Clark, New Jersey, just off the Garden State Parkway at Carl H. Kumpf Middle School. The Cougars hosting the Pope John Lions. Mike Formasano here, calling today's action. Thanks for joining us. Possession is going to go over to, wait and see. I think it's going to go over to the Cougars off of that face-off as the referee blew the whistle. And so now he's winding the clock. No, it's going to be Pope. No, it is going to be Kumpf. I saw Plotz rolling the stick, and I thought he had the ball in it. But number 29 loses it for the Cougars, and it's picked up by Evan Wanamaker. Wanamaker with that golden helmet. Pass off to Nelson, 22 on the center of the field. Nelson with the shot. And he scores. Nelson's able to bounce it off the ground and into the back of the net behind the Kumpf goaltender, and that'll make it 7-2. Pope John over Kumpf. So Nelson getting on the board for the second straight day. Had a hat trick yesterday against Del Barton. The goal here making it 7-2, Pope John. DiArco with the faceoff against number 7 for the Cougars. Here it is. Scrum on the field. Ball smothered by number 7 with the whistle. It's going to go over to Kumpf. 22 will take it. Pass off to 29 on the left sideline here. Trying to get past DiArco. Over to number 18 for Kumpf. He'll pick it up right there at the back line. Pass in front. Shot on goal. He scores. Number 22 for the Cougars. Able to bury that in the back of the net to the left side. Past the left arm of Morelli. And that makes it 7-3. Pope John leading over Kumpf. So the Cougars able to find a little bit of offense here in this second half. It took them all the way till late second quarter to score against Pope John in the first half, but now 2 goals in this first half of the third quarter. Faceoff will be number 23, and that'll be Dante Lamb back at it. Lamb wins the draw against number 7 for the Cougars, and Lamb will pass it upfield to his winger. That's number 10, Perella. Justin Perella will pick it up on the left side right near the corner. Runs it back to the center of the field. Perella with a pass. Over to number 3. That's Seeger. Seeger running behind the net now. Jack Seeger turns around, tries to take the shot on goal. The stick was deflected. Cougars trying to pick it up. The ball's bouncing in front of the Cougar net. Pope John and Kumpf fighting for it. Who's going to come out with it? And it looks to be... Now the ball's still bouncing behind, and so finally Pope John's able to pick it up. That's Seeger. Seeger, number 3 for the Lions. Pass out to number 39. Ball bounces off his stick. 39, Johnny Pippa. Now goes over to the Cougars. Downfield, bounces over Wanamaker's stick and comes out to number 18. The shot goes over the crossbar, stays in bounds. Number 17 picks it up for Kumpf. 17 over to number 7. Checked there by Pippa. Number 25, Travald on him as well. Ball comes into number 4. Tipped away and picked up by number 12. and that is Matthew Riley. Riley with the long stick up the field. Into Kumpf territory. Still maintains possession. Passes out of his stick and onto the ground now. Here's number 10, Perella. Back over to Riley. Number 30 has it. A shot in by Pope John. It goes wide. That was Seeger right in front of the net, but it bounced past the right post. Now to Javald. Over to Seeger. Seeger with the pass out to the left wing for Pope John. Can't get a number on that. Here's a shot in. And he scores. That's number 10, Justin Perella. Putting into the back of the Cougar net. And Pope John goes up 8-3. So the Lions with a 5-goal lead here in the middle stages of the third quarter. Again, we don't have a clock here at Kumpf Middle School, so just on the back field, right in the right field section of the baseball diamond, right in front of the school. So 8-3, Pope John leads midway through the third quarter. Here's the face-off at center field. There's Lamb taking it. He's able to get the ball into his basket. Wins the face-off over number 7 for the Cougars, and now the pass out to number 5 for Pope John. And he's checked off the ball. That's Sal Diarco. Now 22 taking over for Kumpf. Knocked off the ball. Pope John in the scrum there fighting for it. Kumpf comes out with it, but again, ball hits the turf. And eventually goes over to number 30 for the Cougars. Now to 22. They'll race up midfield into Pope John territory, cutting through the defense. The shot goes over the crossbar and out of bounds, and ball's going to go over to Pope John, as they say Morelli was closest to the ball. So Pope John will take over possession here as we head towards the late stages of the third quarter. Wanamaker will take it in for Pope John. Referee starts the clock. And Wanamaker will give it over to Morelli, who will start the offense. Morelli out of his crease. Passes it back to Wanamaker. Wanamaker trying to get around number 18 for the Cougars. And the ball goes up the field. Wanamaker on the right sideline. Pass off to Fiore. Victor Fiore with it. We got a whistle. I think they're going to call a delay of game. I heard that correctly? I may not have. That's what I thought I heard the referee call. So the ball goes over to the Cougars, and they'll start their offense up the field, trailing 8-3 to the Pope John Lions. And Cougar checked out of bounds by number 44, Ty Plotz. Plotz just leveled into number 17 for Kumpf. Cougars maintain possession. Another player falls down for the Cougars. Ball goes over to number 18 behind the Pope John net. Comes out in front. Morelli's able to intercept that, and he'll have it in his crease. And that is the end of the third quarter. So Pope John able to build on their lead. And at the end of 3 quarters, it is the Pope John Lions 8 and the Kumpf Cougars 3. We'll be back with fourth quarter action here from Kumpf Middle School in Clark, New Jersey, right after this.
This is the last one.
Welcome back to Clark, New Jersey in Kumpf Middle School, where the Pope John Junior Lions 7th and 8th grade squad lead the Kumpf Cougars by a count of 8-3. Mike Formisano here calling today's action. Thanks for joining us. Teams will switch sides now, and Kumpf will come closer to us here on the near back line. Pope John and Michael Morelli will head to the far side of the field. Pope John will be going from the up to down position on your screen in their road blues, trimmed by gold and white. We'll pick up the rest of this roster as we get started here in the fourth quarter in just a minute. Dante Lamb, number 23, will take the draw for the Lions against number 7 for the Cougars, who are in their home white uniforms, trimmed by blue. Lamb wins the faceoff to start the fourth quarter. Pope John leading 8-3 as he comes up the left sideline. Pass off to 22. That's Nelson. Kellen Nelson with it now. Maintaining possession. He's got number 7 on him. Michael Formisano to his left. You've got Hayden Marshall to his right. Nelson will pass it off to number 6. Not able to handle the pass. Trying to scoop it in off the ground. And that is Cast. Comes into the Cougar goaltender, and he'll smother it, number 19. Formisano almost getting a piece of that as the goalie threw it downfield. So there's Wanamaker in on the defense there. There's Riley as well, number 12. Riley with a goal in this game. Number 18 for Kumpf. Trying to circle around and get the ball in front to take a good shot. He's not able to get it off, however. Pope John, number 22, Nelson, trying to fight for it, and his counterpart, number 22, on the Cougars, has possession of the ball right now. Pass over to number 7. 7 inside, one of those wings, a shot on goal. Morelli got a piece of that, and it goes out of bounds. And I think Kumpf's gonna maintain possession as they were closest to the ball. Here the Cougars coming in, back behind the net. Ball goes up in the air. Number 7 has it for Kumpf. Over to number 20. Bounces off his stick, rolls towards the sideline, and it goes out of bounds, so Pope John will take over. Let's go with this roster quickly for Pope John. We'll start again with Evan Wanamaker, number 1, as that's where we left off before. So Wanamaker, number 1. Number 8 is Frankie Spagnola. 39, Johnny Pippa. 35, Hayden Marshall. Number 3 is Jack Seeger. Ball's in front now by Morelli as it came back there, and it goes over to Matthew Riley, number 12. Riley will run it up the field, across the midstripe, into Kumpf territory. It's knocked off his stick and out of the basket. Number 8 with it, and here's Pope John, number 13, Michael Formisano. He's knocked down, and number 2 for the Cougars will take over possession. Ball comes in, Morelli will field it. He'll scoop it up. He throws it down the sideline to Plotz. Plotz is able to secure that. Now the pass comes over to number 20, but it's just out of his reach. Ball over to number 30 for Kumpf. He'll give it back to his goalkeeper. Number 19 with the ball up the field. It's taken by Plotz. Plotz twirling the stick. He's got the ball on his stick. Now the shot. He scores. Ty Plotz with a cannon of a shot. Going past number 19, the goalkeeper for Kumpf. And Pope John up 9-3. Well, Plotz with a big goal there and giving the Lions a half-dozen lead. Continuing with the roster, we pick up with Johnny Kranger, number 21. Justin Perella, number 10. Kellen Nelson, 22. Matthew Riley, number 12. Michael Formisano, number 13. Michael Morelli, the goalkeeper, number 15. Nick Boyanowski, number 32. Ronnie Ziegler, 42. Ryder Gerval, 25. Sal Diarco, 5. Steve Leonard, 20. Ty Plotz, 44. Victor Fiore, 4. Zachary Kasht is number 6. The head coach of the Pope John Junior Lions is Christian Vosa. Coaching staff, Chris Hoffman, Chuck Dervald, and Matt Emmering. And the program coordinator is Beatrice Pippa. So Kumpf has possession in Pope John territory now, trailing by 6 goals as we are heading towards the middle section of the fourth quarter. Ball comes out to Wanamaker. Now into the Pope John defense, and here's number 5 with it. That's Sal Diarco racing up the far sideline. Diarco cutting to the middle of the field through the Kumpf defense. Passes it off to Formisano. It's just out of his reach. Formisano at number 7 for Kumpf fighting for it, and it's picked up by Dante Lamb. Here's Lamb on the near sideline, slowing things down. Lamb will pass it off to Nelson. Nelson, back in the center of the field. He dishes it off to Fiore. Fiore with it now. Back to Nelson up top. Nelson and Fiore playing a little bit of catch. Fiore cutting in on number 5. Pass across to Nelson. Nelson looking to cut in, trying to weave his way through the defense. A shot on goal. He scores! Kellen Nelson, the second of the game, is able to put it past number 19, the goalkeeper for Kumpf. And so now, Pope John going up to 10 goals on the afternoon. 10-3, Pope John leads over Kumpf. So Lamb will take the draw. He's actually heading off the field. I think it's going to be Diarco coming in for him. Pope John up by 7. Diarco is going to take the draw against number 22 for the Cougars. Here's a face-off. Diarco getting a piece of it, and it flits out to number 39 for the Lions. Ball coming over to number 6 for Pope John. Stick knocked out of his hand. He gets it back, however. Number 6 is Cast. Zachary Cast. Over to number 5. Back to 6. Cast has it. Number 2 riding him off the ball. Fighting for it behind the Cougar net. Little help coming in by Formisano. Number 13 now goes over to Marshall, 35. Ball's loose, coming back towards the middle part of the field. Formisano and Marshall both fighting for it for Pope John. It's Formisano. Shot on goal. He scores. Michael Formisano with the goal to make it 11-3. Pope John over Kumpf. Formisano was able to bounce that in past the goalkeeper. And that will give the Lions an 11-3 lead. Formisano's first on the season. And Pope John is starting to pull away. Oh, good effort by the Lions there, right on the right side of the field. Cashed and Marshall and Formisano all working hard to get possession there, and it paid off in the goal. Pope John's 11th of the game. Lamb coming back on the field. Trying to lock this one down for Pope John and giving them a record of 2-0 as they head into the River Lax tournament in a couple of weeks. Well, Kumpf wins the faceoff. Number 27 will charge up the field. A shot on goal. He scores. Bounces it in underneath the right arm of Morelli. And that will give the Cougars their 4th goal of the game. So 11-4 is now the count for Pope John over Kumpf. As we start to head towards the late stages of the 4th quarter, shadows now on the field as the sun starts its early descent. It'll be getting later and later as we go through the season. It'll be getting hotter and hotter, but I'll tell you what, it's almost like a summertime day out here. Game time temperature was close to 80 degrees here in Clark, New Jersey, right off the Garden State Parkway, about maybe 20 miles west of New York City. Here's Lamb. He wins the faceoff, charging up the field. Lamb with the shot goes wide to the left post and out of bounds. Cash will go after it, and because he's closest to the ball, Pope John will maintain possession. Waiting on the referee's signal. He winds the clock. Here comes Cash. Pass off to number 3, and that's Seeger. Seeger charging his way in. Trying to find some room, but he loses possession of the ball. Picked up by number 30. It's still on the ground, however. Pope John and Kumpf in a scrum for it. And the ball finally comes out to the Cougars. Number 8 with the long stick. Running up the field on the far sideline. Pass off to number 29. The center of the field, now into number 3. 3 right in the center of the field, trying to get a good shot in on Pope John. Nothing doing, however. Kumpf still has it. Lions fighting for the ball. There is Plotz in there along with Marshall and Matthew Riley. Riley will feed it back to Morelli, trying to get it into the crease. You got number 24, Andrew Jesamaria there as well. Ball finally comes out to number 33, and that, I believe, is Emilio Barranco, if I'm not mistaken. I may be. So here's Plotz running up the board. Running up the sideline, I should say. The near sideline. The pass goes towards the corner, but not out of bounds. Number 30 is able to take over for Kumpf. He'll toss it all the way down the field, where Pope John's able to take possession. Number 33, Barranco, loses it, but picked up by Plotz. Ty Plotz charging down the center of the field now, over to Ryder Javald. Javald has it, top of the box, over to Johnny Kranga, number 21, coming in on the Cougar defense. Kranga with the shot, off the post, and it bounces out of bounds right in front of us. Pope John closest to the ball. Hit the post about maybe 6 inches underneath the crossbar. Again, when lacrosse goals, it's 6 feet by 6 feet, I believe. A little wide, a little taller than hockey nets, but I think the width is the same. There's the whistle. Possession will go over to... Oh, now Kumpf is going to maintain possession. So here's number 20 as we're getting late into the fourth quarter. We don't have a clock here on the sideline, so we're going by the referee's whistle. It is 11-4. Pope John leading the Kumpf Cougars. Late stages of the fourth. Cougars have it in the corner, Pope John's side of the field. Setting up their offense. Number 18 with it. Does a 360 shot on goal. Goes wide to the left post. Kumpf's going to maintain possession as number 17 was closest to it. Well, 17 will play it back inbounds. Jesamaria is defending him. Now Riley's able to get a piece of that, knocking down the ball as it was flying past him and going towards the center of the field. Kumpf takes it back over, however. Shot on goal, goes wide to the right post. Morelli and Jesamaria fighting to be closest, but I think they're going to give it to Kumpf, the number 17, who had a bit of an edge there on him. Referee starts the clock, ball bounces in front. Kumpf trying to get on the board again for a 5th time today. But the ball is smothered by Morelli, and he'll take over possession for Pope John. Over to Kranga. Now goes to Marshall. Here comes Hayden Marshall down the field. Good to see he's back from the injury earlier. He came back actually a lot earlier than that. It was right back on the field a couple of minutes later, so he was holding his right leg. Here's a shot in by number 7. He scores! Connor Clifford is able to put it in just underneath the crossbar and the right post on a bounce past number 19. That'll make it 12-4. Pope John over Kumpf. Well, the Lions leading the Cougars now by 8. Lamb will take the draw for Pope John, looking to close this out and improve their record to 2-0. The Cougars, number 22, taking the face-off against Lamb. Dominating performance by the Lions today. Here comes Lamb. Lamb with the shot. Just missed the right post. And there is Cash closest to the ball. So Pope John maintains possession. Ball comes inbounds. There's Cash. Kind of flips off his stick, but it goes over to number 20. That's Steve Leonard. Leonard will pass it off. There's Kranga with it. Johnny Kranga, number 21. Trying to get to the center of the field. Kranga just holding it, looking to pass it in. He'll come in on the Cougar defense. Kranga looking for a shot. Behind his back, and it goes in. Wow! What a shot by Johnny Kranga. Going behind his back. He's able to tuck it in past the goalkeeper for Kumpf. That'll make it 13-4. Pope John over the Kumpf Cougars. Late stages of the fourth here. Pope John looking to close this one up. An impressive come-from-behind win yesterday against Del Barton. And now a wire-to-wire finish for Pope John against Kumpf. Scoring seconds into the game. A Kranga goal off a Lamb assist right off the opening face-off. And away the Lions went. Scoring 3 goals in the first quarter. And now it's up to 13-4. Here's the face-off. It's won by Diarco. Sal Diarco will pass it off to number 39. That's Pippa. Pippa back to Diarco. Whistle on the play. And that's it. The Pope John Lions, kings of the lacrosse field today. And it's good to be a king, as Pope John will go to 2-0 on the season, having defeated the Kumpf Cougars this afternoon by a final score of 13-4. Lions jumping right out of the gate, dominating performance to secure their second win of the season. Now head into the Riverlax tournament in a couple of weeks with a 2-0 record, having defeated Del Barton and now Kumpf. So check the schedule for listings of any games before the Riverlax tournament. That's set for Sunday, April 16th, the week after Easter. And then the Lions will be off and running with a home schedule, the home opener at Pope John High School, and also a tournament at MetLife Stadium. And we'll be there to cover all that for you. So, final score once again from Carl H. Kumpf Middle School in Clark, New Jersey. The Pope John Junior Lions defeat the Kumpf Cougars. Final score is 13-4. For everyone here in Clark, this is Mike Formersano saying thanks for joining us. Have a good night, and we'll see you in a few weeks.